Good afternoon, good evening. Head hurting and barely working, but hey, we're gonna get to it. So, I'm gonna be a little off today because I'm trying to function, but I'm halfway out of there. But let's go ahead and get it started.
On me asking for help with medical expenses after injuring his hand on the 4th of July while listening, excuse me,
Telling you, bro, listening to them fireworks is dangerous out here.
lighting fireworks. He should have been listening. Lighting fire.
It's not fun. I'm not laughing at the situation whatsoever, but it is true. You should have listened. When people said do not play with firecrackers and do not light them in your hands, you should have listened. I mean, it's kind of late for that now, but for anybody else who's thinking about playing with fireworks, do not light them in your hands.
Fireworks. Rasan is someone who lights up every room, so his name is Rasan. So his girl probably wrote this. Says Rasan is somebody who lights up every room with humor and energy. If you ever laughed with him, shared a moment, or simply care about his well-being, any support from donations.
It's gonna be kind of hard to get them donations. Like, they might, but just considering the demeanor carried and all of that, and that whole rapper style life where you kind of moving around like, look at me, look what I got, it's gonna be really difficult to garner sympathy or empathy for a situation like that. A lot of people are gonna be like, well, you got it, right? Because y'all out here balling, right?
To prayers or even sharing this means the world to us.
Yeah.
The reason why I think people are making fun of forex shit, I feel bad for anybody that just gets their hand blown off. Like, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody but a or somebody that's stalking me on the internet, something like that.
So somebody stalking you on the internet that deserve to get their hand blown off. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all on both sides, like, they may do things that are annoying. Now, here's what I'll say: people that cross the line, who are harassing online, like when you start trying to do stuff with address, taking pictures of cars, getting people's personal documentation, then I'm like, I see where you could be upset. But even in hand blown off is kind of excessive. And when I say kind of, I mean extremely excessive. But one thing that I'll say is, when you do start putting people's safety in jeopardy by putting their addresses up, it's kind of all gloves off, because now you actually are putting their life in danger, because you don't know how crazy people are online, for real. Well, you've kind of seen it, but yeah.
But the reason why people are like kind of making jokes about it is because they just seen how he was carrying out.
And I'm gonna go ahead and give an addition to that statement. Now, growing up, if you were doing something stupid and something stupid happened to you, we would laugh at you. We'd make jokes about it. Now, me personally, I'm not gonna make jokes about it. I'm not gonna laugh about it. But I'm gonna just say this: when you're playing around talking about you're gonna blow something up today and you're bouncing an M80 or whatever it was in your hand, and then you lose that hand, the jokes write themselves, all right? I was like, I'm not gonna make any jokes. I just personally, I don't like laughing when people get messed up, even if it is their fault. But the era I came from, that people would not be hands off for the jokes, and them not being hands off for the jokes now, you kind of ask for it. Now, if it was just an accident, you were just doing it, and you weren't there was no precursor to none of this, and you just did it and it happened, and people be like, damn, bro. But the videos before kind of set these jokes up.
Forex with his hand blown up, I was like, damn, everything he wanted to do fighting wise is a wrap. I was just thinking of how much money is gone, how much money was on the table, because he had such a big energy about him, and everybody couldn't wait to see him fight because of all of his fade stories. But it's like, now that hand is gone, bro, like, honestly, he's never gonna be the same.
Honestly, it's a wrap. He need to change his rap name to 4X Hook, like something with a hook, and put a hook on his hand or something. He gonna have to do something else with the niche, because as far as the threatening with the hands, that's done. Does that mean he can't still whoop somebody? Now, you can still whoop somebody without your fingers being there. It's still possible. It's a little bit more difficult, but there's also prosthetics. There's resolutions to it, but it's not gonna be the same as it was before that. And even if he's rapping, he gonna have to change that up too. He gonna have to change up how he doing stuff too, because now, yeah, man, you like a wounded duck. But then again, you seen people rapping in wheelchairs and 600 pounds, so really, nah, he be alright. He be straight. You know what? This would be the perfect opportunity to drop a Candyman album. Y'all remember, how many of y'all seen Candyman? He come through with the hook. Dawg, that's the perfect opportunity. You're welcome. That's a free one. you might as well just go ahead and do it, bro. You got to capitalize.
Unless he gets lucky to where like he keeps maybe a thumb and a pinky, and he could still ball up his fist and put on a boxing glove. But I'm not sure how that works when it comes to getting sanctioned for a fight. But from what I seen on the picture, bro, his hand looked mutilated. No, it wasn't just injured. Like the shit looked like somebody threw you a grenade. You said, what's dead? And it went blue.
Yo, with that kind of damage, it's a good chance that he's probably gonna have it amputated. Cause it's so damaged. I don't know if they can fix that. They might be able to, but anytime when you receive that level of damage to something, usually you have to remove it. Cause I don't know how they could fix that. They might. I mean, I ain't a doctor or a surgeon, but man, that looked bad. It looked real bad.
Go look for the picture. Like, it looks like something that just literally cannot be fixed. There's a one-armed MMA fighter, but Dana White won't sign him. I remember he had somewhat of a buzz, and then somebody just started leg kicking him and fucking him up, and that was the end of everything.
Now, this whole hero syndrome sentiment thing, I want to go ahead and really clear this up for people. If you have a disadvantage or something, you are not going to beat people who do not have a disadvantage. Like I always say, video games is something completely different. You can beat somebody in video games. You could be blind. You can have, because there's like sound things where you can hear and all of that. But as far as like hand-to-hand combat, like real world situations, that's me versus you, and you need all of your body to function. You're gonna need everything, because if you're starting at a handicap and you're missing anything, you're going to lose 100% of the time. There is no such thing as a person with a disadvantage beating anybody in combat. It's not gonna happen. I don't care what movies you watched. I don't care what kung fu movie you've seen. It doesn't exist. You ain't whooping nobody with 2 arms and 2 legs and you missing one of your limbs. It's just not gonna happen. You're too disadvantaged. Now, if you're talking as far as guns and things like that and weaponry, you have a better chance. It's more balanced because of the weapon. But as far as just you and that person, hands and feet, that's all you got, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, his hand got blown up by M80. Like, that's like a small stick of dynamite. Man, he has so much shit on the table. And it's like, now, I just don't see any of that happening. I don't see the buzz and the aura of him being this big, bad motherfucker that could fade anybody or willing to run any fade. I really don't even see anybody respecting him as a fade.
And they just left him an excuse now, because every time they be like, yeah, bro, man, your hands ain't even all the way right, man. You can't run no fade with you. It literally gave them an excuse. So even if he was capable, it's still gonna be like, yeah, but your hand messed up. So I mean, really, it ain't even like, I ain't really even trying to do all that. So now, even if he could still fight, it's still gonna be a disadvantage because people got an excuse not to fade him up or not to run the fade. So it's gonna be an uphill battle. I'm gonna see how it goes, but you know, we'll see.
You know, on a fade basis, I don't see it. I don't see anybody. I see people actually trying to try him at this point.
Also a possibility.
Yeah, it's very, very sad case, man. But you know, it's just, I don't want to say the word karma, but in a sense, it kind of is, because karma doesn't choose its people, I'll say, right?
With situations like this, I don't necessarily call it karma. I just call it the outcome of decisions. Basically, you made a specific series of decisions that had an outcome to them. It's not like, oh, you were this type of person, or you did this or you did that, so this bad thing happened. It's just you made a series of decisions that has an outcome either you're going to be happy with or unhappy with based on what you were doing. And how you choose to do things will have an outcome. But as far as it being karma, I don't too much believe in the superstitions of karma. I just think you make decisions and those decisions have outcomes.
So if you say you're going to blow up people's houses and I'm going to throw these M80s in somebody's car, I'm lighting an M80 in the car. That meant that I was going to throw that M80 into some pedestrian, somebody's car, somebody's house. I was going to do something like that anyway.
And that's why I say that outcome comes from irresponsible decisions. So I don't necessarily believe, I mean, some people, if you like to believe it's karma, I'm not telling you what to believe or not to believe. But what I believe is you had decisions that you made where you were like, I'm going to do something. I ain't got no business. I'm going to be irresponsible with fireworks. I'm going to be irresponsible with a small stick of dynamite, basically. And as you were playing around with it, that's how it led to that happening. Instead of sitting it down, lighting it, and running off, or blowing it up responsibly, and just for the fireworks means of it, this wound up happening. So it wasn't even the fact that you were going to do what you did; it's the fact that you were playing a dangerous game, and you lost at it. You lost at it.
And the universe literally was like, nope, blue. So, man, we'll see what happens.
And not to keep cutting them off, but the reason why I say it ain't the universe is because if that was the case, then bad things would happen to nobody. You get what I'm saying? Bad things would not exist in the world if there was a such thing as karma. Little kids wouldn't be getting snatched up. People wouldn't be getting taken advantage of. There wouldn't be war crimes. There wouldn't be none of that stuff. People wouldn't be, you get what I'm saying? These things would not exist if karma existed, because everybody who did something wrong to somebody or wronged somebody in some type of way, they would have to pay for their actions. And more times than not, people do not have to pay for their actions, nor are they held accountable for their bad actions. For example, hell, we could just use men as an example. Look at what happened with Corey Kenshin. People out here pulling up false allegations on men, and ain't nothing happening to these people. They're not being held accountable. Men are getting their lives ruined. And how many times do these women get held accountable for lying on these men? Never. That's just one example. There's just one example that happens every single day. So if karma was real, a lot of things would be different. I'll just say it like that. And I don't want to keep going on about it, but paternity fraud is over 30%. I could keep going with example after example after example. And if it let's just say, if it did, why did Luigi do what he did? How is it that insurance companies can take your money and never cover you for anything? How is it that once insurance companies actually have to pay, they decide to drop you or raise your rates even though you didn't even get in an accident? You see what I'm saying? How is it that people up top can steal trillions of dollars, rob the people underneath them, and make them struggle and inflate rent prices and all these prices while they live fine and everybody else struggles, destroy entire nations due to their greed? But there's karma. All right. Okay, sure. I just had to put that in there because now I'm not saying there's not divine intervention or there's not miracles sometimes where things may happen in your favor way unrealistically. Now, I have no answer for that. Sometimes there's just certain situations that just, like, you'd be like, yeah, you got one there. Like, all you can say is, yeah, you got one, because that was your ass. You managed to get out of that one. That was, yeah, you got looked after on that one. But as far as just a regular standpoint in everyday life where those special occurrences don't happen, nah, karma ain't real.
Well, 4 extra, but this is one of the craziest things that's happened to any known personality in quite some time. You say you just looked at it, it's not fixable? Exactly, it don't look fixable. So they got the GoFundMe up. I've seen a lot of people clowning on Instagram saying, why don't you sell them big ass Rolex chains, sell the rings? And then somebody was people were replying like, those aren't shit but 10K gold, they're not worth shit, those rings are only 200 a pop. Everybody was just roasting. It was like,
side note, modified jewelry is worthless. When you cram a bunch of diamonds and things, or you modify Rolexes, it actually removes the value. So anybody who's thinking about getting certain types of jewelry, gold, diamonds, things like that, when you start going in there and cramming things in there that don't belong in there, or that's not the original form of whatever the jewelry is, it actually lessens the value. Just because you spent $200,000 on it does not mean that's what it's worth. When you try to resell that, it's not going to go for more than about max 8 to 10,000. If you're lucky, you may be able to get 10,000 for it, but it's going to be mostly worthless because, for one, it's custom. Anything custom is useless unless you're like Michael Jackson or you're an international superstar. It'll have value based on who you are, and that's what gives it the value. But as far as the piece of jewelry itself, it has no value. And especially if it's custom, it has no value because it's suited to you. And if you're not an important figure, or you're not somebody who has a huge fan base to where you have value in your name, it ain't gonna be worth nothing.
a big bad gangster with no bags. So everybody's basically just roasting him. It's not really no prayers up, this and that, because the thing is like this. The reason why there's really no prayers up for 4 extra is because he didn't really show no morality on any of his stories or anything. Like, he used to tell stories on interviews where people are like, man, I ain't trying to fight like that, man. I ain't really. He'd be like, I don't give a roll it up. Blue, knock his ass out. So he was a guy that literally would tell stories where he showed no remorse.
I never understood why this was considered something cool to talk about how you would either beat on people or constantly engaged in violence. Like if you ain't in the ring and you're not fighting and you're not getting like championship belts and you're not getting heavyweight titles or whatever class you in, that really ain't no bragging rights like that just because you go around beating up on people, especially if you beating up on people who aren't formidable opponents. That ain't nothing to brag about. Now, if you're defending yourself and you whooping up on people, that's something different. Then it's like, yeah, people, they tried it. But then it's like they started it. So when you whoop them, that's credible. But just because you go around whooping up on people who ain't in your weight class or they don't fight like you, that ain't nothing to brag about.
So that's why people, I think, are clowning him, because he was somebody that seemed like he had zero humility. And then on top of that, he got all up in 607 Unk's face. 607 Unk is like 120 pounds or something like that. Charleston.
And I'm sure as far as that, somebody said something to somebody said something to the other person. So as far as that goes, if you're choosing confrontation, it is what it is. I'm not going to have an opinion on that. But what I will say is, if he's the first to initiate violence on that level, then it's kind of like that's soft. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you outweigh somebody by 100 something pounds and talking down to them like you gonna whoop them. They not even in your weight class. You don't get credit or credibility for whooping people who ain't either. They ain't your same weight and they don't have nearly your fight experience. So just because you may have fought more than other people or whatever, street fights are not getting you they're not getting you credibility. Maybe to some of y'all it do, but you're not getting no credibility for me because you didn't have a sanctioned fight. You didn't have a fight with people who are training on an equivalent level to where the match is more balanced. You want credibility for me? Get in the ring. If you train, they train, and you fight at peak performance, then there's credibility. But unbalanced battles, nah, you don't get no credit for that. And I'm saying that as a credible fighter. Now, does that mean he could whoop people? Of course he could whoop people. Of course he could beat people up. Now, I'm not taking that away from him. But again, in the street, they be like, yeah, man, that fool's over there whooping everybody. Okay, yeah, that's cool for street credibility. But I take the more corporate stance. How many sanctioned fights did you win versus other professionals of an equivalent level? How many ranks did you move up? How many people did you beat in the ranks? Then we could talk about your credentials as far as how you are as a qualified fighter. But that whole street fight thing, you fighting people who high, who on drugs, who don't take good care of themselves, who be eating Cheetos and noodles all day. That's who you fighting. So we can't even, you know what I'm saying? That's not, bro. They all unhealthy and all that.
Charleston White's weight. He said he was on him and I knock you the fuck out, blah, blah, blah. And 607 Unk is clearly somebody that knows how to do roots and voodoo and things like that. And that day, before 4Extra's hand blew up, if you look at 607 Unk's stories that day, he was doing all types of voodoo and kept posting subliminal things on his story. And then next thing you know, 4Extra's hands exploded on social media. And he's just sitting there like just in a slump, hand blew up. If there's a VIP or somebody that got the link to the GoFundMe, I just want to look and see where it's at. I was like, baby, sell your gold. He's like, I ain't about to sell my motherfucking gold. The fuck? Run that motherfucking GoFundMe and put 30 on that motherfucker. All right, so 7,300.
Would you help 4Extra with his medical bills or donate to him after this happened?
No, you should have had health insurance. If you're going to be running around doing stuff like that, you should have had health insurance. If you didn't have it, bro, I don't know what to tell you. Because if you would have had health insurance, you could have had to pay the deductible and got that taken care of. And I'm sure your deductible would have been about $1,500 to $2,000. I could be wrong, but that's usually what health insurance is for, or supposed to be for. But damn, then again, self-inflicted firework damage, I don't even know if that would be covered. That's a rough situation, man.
Would you donate to somebody who was talking about never giving nobody a pass, never showing no signs of morale, so on and so forth? Come on now. You just gotta watch. Exactly. Like, that's somebody who, if you was in a wrong, put it like this, if you was in a wrong area in LA and you was wearing the wrong hat, and if 4Extra seen you, he would definitely try to knock you out in person.
Yeah. And I got a little something on this next segment to show how those behaviors take place.
But I mean, he has an entire hood of people who look out for him. So he should be able to hit that goal. If his hood is strong, if his hood really loves him how he claims.
Yeah, because the hood got so much love for you. And that's the same reason why Nipsey's still around, huh? Yeah, because the hood just got so much love. Now, that doesn't mean that no one has love for you, because there could be a good subset of people who got love for you, but there's a whole lot of hate that matches the love. And eventually you will get guided, you will get touched, you will get robbed, somebody will do something to you. And unless you're heavily feared and you got an army behind you, which even then, is that really just love or is that fear? And also, the minute you stop doing things for people over there, all of a sudden the love ain't there no more. The minute you stop giving and handing out, that love ain't the same. It's what have you done for me lately? That's what it turns into. It just is what it is.
That 30K should be easy. That shit should have been done quickly. You have to watch what you wear in Cali. You just got to watch what hats you wear, what colors, how much gold you got on, so on and so forth, depending on where you're going. But if his hood really loves him like that, bro, 30K should be easy. They should have been pieced up and got it done. That should be a hood fix. The general public shouldn't even have to donate.
Yep, but let's go ahead and go on to that next segment.
I feel like there's a little through line between both of them. So the streamer lady's talking to some guy in LA. They're on the side of the street. They're just talking, and then some other people show up.
Words. No, I don't gangbang, bro. No, I don't gangbang, bro. No, I thought you was that one Say-Lo that I seen on Instagram. I don't gangbang.
You got orange on too.
I don't gangbang. Nah, bro. I seen you on LA Hood page, bro. Nah, wrong nigga.
You're not from Snowbird.
I don't gangbang.
You're not from Snowbird.
I don't gangbang.
You sure?
I don't gangbang.
You're not from Snowbird.
Now, when people have certain opinions about the community and they give their feedback about behaviors, the reason why black people's opinions are not taken seriously is because you get so outraged about a white guy, Hispanic guy, Asian, whoever else, but you allow this innocent black man to get harassed by these other young, whatever the hell they are, these little animals, and nobody says anything. There's absolutely no outrage for this. And I don't mean like, oh, one or two people said something on Twitter. I mean, where is the broad outrage and furious reaction to situations like this that happen every single day? Ain't nobody saying a word about it. Nobody. It just happens all the time. To innocent, basically, if you're not gangbanging or you're not a quote unquote tough guy, you get done like this. And nobody's saying a word, and you wonder why the plight is not taken serious. You don't even take yourself serious.
You're not from Snowbird. No, you're not from Snowbird.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just Tuesday afternoon for me. They're gonna come back next week. The way he's taking that, this guy is used to this shit. This is environment. He's like, I know what this is. I know how to react. I'm gonna calm down. I could lose way more than a slap right now. So a snap is a good cop out.
Because if he would have reacted, they could have stripped him down, took his clothes, they could have robbed him, could have took his skateboard. You know, of course, they would have beat him down if he would have reacted, and they were completely in the wrong. So he literally got to sit there and get punked when he ain't even a part of whatever they got going on. But see, they're such cowards that, first of all, you have to run up on this one guy in a group of 9 to 12 something people. You slap him and you run off, and you think that you're tough. And the thing that makes me laugh about people like you is once you get locked up and you get put in prison with true people who really get down like that, now you're scared. Now you're crying when you're in court. Now you're talking about, but I should get, no, go to jail. Go to jail. Join the military or go to jail. If you really want combat, if you want to engage in confrontation that bad, why don't you go box? Go get in the ring where it's one-on-one, mano-a-mano. Oh, you don't want to do that. See, that's what I thought, because you're a coward. You like to pick on people. You like to gang up on people. You're not tough. They prove this to you all the time. You get locked up and you turn into cinnamon every single time. Boy, all y'all about 100 pounds, 120 pounds soaking wet. When you get up it, you're going to keep playing, and you're going to wind up on a t-shirt or you're going to wind up in prison. And when you get up in prison, them men, these grown men. There's a difference between I'm 18, 21 versus a grown man. Them grown men in there is you talking 250, 300. And what they gonna do to you, y'all gonna be washing somebody's drawers. So you need to clean up your act, and you need to do right, and you need to act like you got some damn sense out here before you mess around and find out.
So let me just, it's cool. It's cool. It's Tuesday afternoon. It looks like that.
Really? Yeah, no, to me it looks like he's actually really hurt by it, but he's just putting on the face.
Oh, you think?
Oh, yeah.
That's possible.
Hold up. We'll scroll back so you can see his face.
Did you just get slapped? I did. You just got slapped?
Nah. He hurt by that. You see when
I'm not saying he's not hurt. I'm saying that the way he was reacting, he was not like startled or anything and stuff like that, or going back or whatever. He was like, "Oh, I know what this is." It hurts. Like it's humiliating. But I'm like, I know what this is. Gotcha. I know this environment. That's the position I am.
I definitely think there's a lot of truth to that. I think a lot of it's just shock. Most people, when they get punched in the face, they don't react.
Sure.
With that, it ain't even shock. He know what it is. He just like, man, it's just like, all right, man, it is what it is. He just gonna have to take it because he understands the situation he in. It ain't even shock.
Sit there.
I can.
You know, because you don't have the anger and everything till you get back, right? So right there, you just shook.
Yeah.
You don't know how to react.
I can understand. Yep. And
that's what he's like. So what are you doing this year? He's like, I'm fine. Not okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
so
good.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is LA. I'm gonna make it out though. I'm gonna be a millionaire.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's all good. I'm gonna catch you though.
And this is what I'm gonna say too. When this brother makes it out, because I believe in him, I believe he look like he got a good head on his shoulders. And if you can handle that and being emasculated and still manage to go about your day and not crash out, he gonna be all right. He gonna be good. He gonna do just fine. These are the same people who leave and choose to never come back and never help you. So when y'all decide to scrutinize certain people and say, oh, well, they need to come put on. No, he doesn't need to come back and do anything because nobody here did anything for him. Nobody. And if there was maybe one or two individuals who did and he decided to come back and help them, okay, cool. But as far as opening up recreation centers and all, he ain't obligated to do that. Nobody who leaves the hood is obligated to do anything because the hood didn't do a damn thing for them on a large scale. They had to fight their way out and make it out. And when they make it out, they could do whatever the hell they want to do. They are not obligated to do anything, and you shouldn't. And honestly, don't let none of them guilt you into it. This is just for me telling you people who manage to be successful and then you feel success guilt. No, you worked hard to make something happen. You chose to do something different, and you don't owe anybody anything. Now, if there was a few people who helped you, you can hook them up. But as far as a whole city and all of that crap, leave them to their devices. Let them do what they do. That ain't none of your business, nor is it your problem.
I'm really sorry.
See? That's a shame that comes in.
Yeah, of course. Because it's filmed.
Wait, do you want to get my Instagram?
I thought you already
Yeah,
gave
that boy so dirty. He don't even want to turn around and talk. When the dude just left away from the female. So they didn't went and did that, embarrassed this man to the extent to where she was like, what the Instagram? He's like, yeah, you already got it, you got it. She did get it, but he didn't even care to confirm. He was like, no, I'm just trying to get up out of here, man. He's like, I'm just trying to go home. He's like, especially before it gets nighttime, because he does not want to catch it again. Yeah, it be like that.
All right, bye. I don't know, I feel so bad. I'm gonna go to my car. Wait, I'm actually gonna cry. I can't believe it just happened.
Yeah, at least protect the group. Even victimized by your own. It be like that.
That's really upsetting. No, but he was...
I'm sorry. I know it's.
But it is kind of poetic in a way because the other man's the one who gets beaten, right, by other men. And
they didn't even see her.
They didn't. No, one of them was just looking at the camera. They didn't even touch her. She was out there in a bra or whatever. They didn't care. And she's crying, and then you hear someone off the side like, "Are you okay?" And it's just interesting.
At least protect the group, right? I was just saying, like, we ain't gotta go off to that conversation, but it's just very ironic that the man gets assaulted. The woman feels sad about the man getting assaulted, but she the one getting checked on by somebody else and a complete stranger. Like, But he borderline almost got jumped and nobody came to help him. And I know people saw this. She barely walked 8 to 10 feet. And people were like, oh, are you okay? What's wrong? Whew, man, the irony. But let's go ahead and move on to our next segment.
I'm in the spot.
Ignorance called moments. However, can also create bonds with each other, also based on ignorance.
Monique came out and tried to be as nice as possible, and he had the Bonnet Brigade make videos about their right to wear bonnets. And then they went and got a bunch of gay guys to stand next to him on a damn coalition. When are y'all gonna fight to say, I'm tired of this, just like you want black men to be tired of that?
And as far as this, people can do whatever they want to do, all right? But if you're going to do that, cool. Stay where you're at. Stay where you're from. Stay at home with all of that. Stay on your block with all of that. Don't go to a public place doing all of this because the view that you put out affects everybody around you. People are not going to see you behave this way and say, oh no, that's just you. They're going to say that's all of y'all. So whenever a person becomes famous or whatever it is, and you start going to cruises, going on airplane trips, traveling, going to different countries, the idea that you're putting out of the character of black people, they're going to see all black people this way. They're not going to be separate and say, oh no, that's just you. They're going to say, no, that's them. That's why it's a problem. It's cool though. Be at home. Do it at home. You can do whatever you want at home. But stop going out in the public behaving this way.
In the water.
Talking about in there. In there.
Your boy,
Bow. Well, good. Good little walkout footage right here. You still trying to walk in them digital?
And my question is to you ladies, when are you going to take your image back from women that talk like her? You want the image, our ethnic image to be better? Black men have to fight and are continuing to fight to wrestle our image back to have one of respect, power, and confidence. When are you ladies going to fight to take your image back from that? Unless you want to be associated with bonnets and slippers in the damn airport.
And he didn't even address the behavior. That's what's crazy is he said it as simple as bonnets and slippers. He didn't even address the behavior, the fighting in there. And I think probably it wasn't as bad yet. I knew it was bad, but not as bad yet. But then with the travel and all that becoming a lot cheaper, it got a whole lot different and a whole lot more of out-of-pocket behavior started taking place.
Black fatigue or ghetto fatigue.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm tired of stupidity from all people, but that's not what we're talking about today. So we'll stick on topic. But nah, it ain't just black people. There's a lot of people who dumb as hell out here that also need to be addressed. But we'll just stick to the topic at hand for this video.
I really want you guys to understand that time is running out. And a lot of black people say that, but for real. Part of why the civil rights movement has been so successful and part of why those who have come after in terms of our leadership have been able to maintain a presence is that black people have always had a certain amount of moral currency that we have been using. And let me be the first to tell you, that's used up. White America has been watching us act like fools for a long enough time where any sympathy they may have had to our plight is completely gone. You're approaching a country that, forget hating black people or not hating black people, they just don't care.
Exactly. And I want to leave it on that final message. And the thing is, you could be whoever you want to be, do whatever you want, but do it in your backyard. Don't travel doing it. Don't get on no plane doing it. Don't go to different countries doing it. Stay where you're at. If you want to live like that and you don't want to assimilate and you don't want to act like you have sense in public, stay where you're at, and that's cool. So whenever people see that, they be like, oh, well, that's just Oakland, or that's just the Bronx, or that's just Oak Cliff, or whatever it is. They can leave it centralized to that area. But when people travel with sense or leave with sense, they could be like, nah, that's not all black people. That's just them black people in that area, just sort of either how slums are or the rougher areas of here, they have them there. That's where they are. So if you go there, understand where you're going. But when you start traveling acting like this, they're going to say all people are like that because you got to have quote unquote money to travel. But they're not going to distinguish the fact that travel is cheaper. They're just looking at like, oh, okay, well, this is how they live over there. Oh, this is how they act. And it's putting a bad outlook on the general populace of people who have nothing to do with those behaviors. And what's funny is the more that you're acting like that, the more that people, the black people with money or with sense, stop traveling. They stop moving around because they don't want to be around you. They don't want to deal with you. So they're like, nah, if that's where that's at, I'm not about to go and do that. If that's where them people are, I don't want to go over there. So less and less people with sense are getting seen. Does that make sense? So my request is, if you're going to behave that way, just keep it in your backyard so you can stop affecting everybody else. But if you kicked it with your boy this long, I appreciate you hanging with me. Links in the description below like always. And in the meanwhile, I'm out. Have a good one.